Hey guys, this is your Florida landlord, and today we're going to break down the 1% rule and this rental property. For those who don't know, I'm going to explain what the 1% rule means. The 1% rule means that your monthly rent needs to equal 1% of the purchase price of your property. For example, if your property is worth $100,000, you need to be collecting $1,000 a month in rent. So why is the 1% rule important, and why do we want to achieve the 1% rule on our rental properties? If you're achieving the 1% rule with your rental property, it's going to ensure that the property is profitable or at least breaking even. Now let's look at my rental property over here and see if it meets the 1% rule and if we need it to hit that 1%. So the purchase price for this property over here was $240,000 and it rents out for $2,150 a month. This doesn't meet the 1% rule, but it doesn't mean it was a bad purchase. Another metric that we look at with rental properties is cash on cash return. And so even though a property may not meet the 1% rule, it could still have really good cash on cash return and be worth buying. So what does cash on cash return mean? So typically when you buy a rental property, you're either putting 20% or 25% down. That's the cash that you're putting down. Your cash on cash return is after paying your mortgage payment, whatever amount's left over, your net profit, you multiply that number by 12, and then you divide that number by your down payment, and that is going to give you your cash on cash return. So we're looking to beat the stock market when it comes to cash on cash return. If the S&P 500 is averaging about 10% a year, we want our cash on cash return to be greater than that with a rental property. This particular property has a cash on cash return over 20%. So I'm still beating the market by over 10%, and I didn't even meet the 1% rule. So it's a great rule to have as a rule of thumb, but just remember there's different metrics you could use to make sure your real estate is successful.